Before this video begins, I would like to give a quick thank you to my Asban Team level patrons Fallon Cortez and Nathan Gibson. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Hello everybody and welcome to a bit of a different video this time because we have hit 60,000 subscribers. Yeah, no, this little channel that started off making crappy little Doctor Who essays has finally managed to get 60k subs. It's absolutely incredible, and yeah, just thank you all so much for that. Initially this week I was going to upload something a bit different, but I've had to push that back to next week because of the April Fool's Day video. But I just thought it would be nice to do a bit of a Q&A to celebrate 60k. I know I didn't really do anything for 50k, so yeah, think about it, is this making up for it? I asked across all three of my main platforms for any questions, and I got a lot, so I'm going to try and get through as many as I can as quick as possible. And yeah, without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. What am I most looking forward to from series 14? Just the fact it's so new. I always love being in that stage of we never know what's coming with Doctor Who, and just, you know, just the idea of new stories, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. I love the trailers that they've released, and I think it's gonna look very good visually, and I just hope it's good, really. I just really hope it's genuinely good. What Doctor Who monster do I think I could take in a one-on-one fight? Obviously, like the Bating or the Adipose, you can just punt kick them and score a field goal with them, easy. If I could write an adventure for any Doctor, which one would it be? There's probably, I'd say the 10th Doctor is the easiest to write for, so yeah, I'd probably, you know, I'd want to write for the 12th Doctor, but if I was being honest, I'd more likely be better at doing the 10th Doctor. Favourite standalone episode? Midnight. Definitely Midnight. I got a lot of questions about Children of Earth and Torchwood reviews, and I just want to say I will make a Torchwood Children of Earth review when the Series 10 soundtrack comes out. That's the bargain. Who is dreamcasting for the Doctor and who would be a nightmare casting? Okay, dreamcasting, which I've always maintained, Adrian Lester. He was absolutely amazing in Hustle and had real Doctor vibes in that. Nightmare casting, probably Chris Marshall or Richard Ayoade, just because they're the most annoying ones that everyone always comes like, oh look at this quirky British person, they'd be amazing at this, you know. Just I hate those two. Those are nightmare casting for sure. If I was offered the chance to give tips for a script of a Doctor Who story in production, would I take it? Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, I'd probably ruin it. I'd probably absolutely, or they just wouldn't listen to me, but I would love to try. I would absolutely love to try. If I could switch two Doctors' outfits, which Doctors would I switch? Oh, obviously like 9th Doctor and the 6th Doctor, because, you know, Christopher Eccleston would just look absolutely slay in the 6th Doctor's outfit. I mean, come on. Who is my favourite alien in all of Doctor Who and why? What, like alien race? Definitely the Sycorax. And keep your eyes peeled. I've got a banger of a lore video coming out in probably a couple of months, and it's absolutely amazing. What's my most memorable moment while watching Doctor Who? It's a tricky one because I've been watching it my whole life, so it's hard to kind of nail down one that I specifically remember. My memory is awful. The most impactful moment was when I was a kid and I saw the Next Time trailer for The Empty Child. That was enough to give me nightmares for like 8 or so years, you know, until I was like an early teenager. That's when I finally braved up and watched the episode and conquered that beast. So I guess that's my most memorable moment. What is my favourite bit of merchandise that I own? Obviously it's the mug gan. I mean, it goes without saying. Okay, so I got quite a few questions about whether I would cover the Sarah Jane Adventures in any form, and obviously I already have. I covered the 2 crossover stories, and that's probably where I'm going to leave it. I just don't really want to, in a way. Like I loved the show growing up as a kid, but then when Elizabeth Sladen died, it was really hit me hard, and even now I just get really kind of sad watching the episodes or Elizabeth Sladen in modern Doctor Who in general. I have fond memories of it, but it's just I don't think it's something I really want to review, especially because I'm kind of moving past the reviews these days. It'd be fun to know which kind of spin-offs I'd like to see. I don't know, I'm probably going to make a whole video about this at some point, because the spin-offs I want, like the perfect spin-off I have in my head, is something I've never seen anyone really come up with, and I just think it would be so perfect, especially with like the Disney American direction. It's so much more suited to American audiences. So yeah, keep tuned on that one. There'll probably be a video about it. Best series finale. It's definitely between Parting of the Ways and World Enough in Time. If I could travel with any Doctor and companion, who would it be and why? Let's see, so I've had a couple of like, which Doctor would you travel with? And it's always a tricky one because I wouldn't want to travel with someone like the 10th Doctor because he'd probably get me killed. I think if I wanted to survive afterwards, I'd travel with the 13th Doctor. But if I wanted like the most fun time, probably like the I guess, the 10th Doctor, but yeah, I'd probably die. The 8th Doctor, I mean, you know, I love the McGann gang, so probably him. Are there any episodes which I feel go unappreciated by fans? I mean, that's kind of the whole reason I started my Defending the Despised series. May it rest in peace in its hiatus. There's a lot of episodes, really. Stuff like Hellbent I feel is really misunderstood and underappreciated. Why are you? I don't know either. I don't know why I am. Help me. If I could bring back any character to the new series, who would it be and why? I'm not really huge on like the bringing everyone back idea. Yeah, like a couple of them are fine here and there, but I don't want there to be too many. Martha, I guess, is always the person I'd want to come back because she deserves better in a way. What companion would I like to see return to the show next for an episode or two? Martha Jones. There we go. If I were a showrunner, who would be my ideal guest writers for an episode or two? Obviously, my first thought is always Pemberton and Shearsmith of Inside Number 9, and then I guess also Mike Flanagan could be a good one because, yeah, he's a very talented writer and he wants to write for Doctor Who, so easy. What's the one thing I think Classic Who has over Modern and vice versa? Obviously, Modern has the budget over Classic Who. There are so many more interesting settings and companions in Classic Who compared to Modern Who. So I've got a bunch of questions about when I'm going to do the overall Series 9 review and Series 10 reviews, and it's not going to be for a while. Series 9 review I will chip away at eventually, but it's just, in general, I'm just kind of moving away from those kind of videos of like the retrospective reviews. Mainly because interest was dwindling on them, and also just because, yeah, Series 10 is like the end of that series. I don't think I'm going to cover the 13th Doctor era because it's just kind of predictable. It's going to be like, I don't like any of this really. It's going to happen eventually, but not for a while. What's my least favourite episode from each Doctor? Okay, so Unquiet Dead for the 9th Doctor. Probably like Idiot's Lantern for the 10th Doctor because it's just so boring. Crimson Horror for the 11th Doctor, and just realised those are 3 Mark Gatiss episodes in a row. 12th Doctor, probably Eaters of Light. 13th Doctor, Praxeus, because that just makes me want to fall asleep. And 14th Doctor, as controversial as it is, probably Wild Blue Yonder. I'm not a huge fan of it. How do I feel I've grown as a Doctor Who critic? What do I think I've improved most since I first started? I think just kind of general media literacy stuff. When I first started, you know, I was very kind of... I didn't delve into as much stuff as I could have. You know, you go back to my Series 1 reviews, not only are they very bad, like audio quality and the editing's very rudimentary, I just think I've improved a lot in production and my script writing. You know, I think I write my videos a lot better now compared to when I started. What's my favourite scene in all of Doctor Who? I'm not good with favourites, so I always struggle when people ask me what my favourite X is, you know, it's always a tricky one. Yeah, there's so many I could go by. I feel like it's a cop-out answer, but I gotta move on. I can't think of anything right now, I'm sorry. Is there a Big Finish audio drama that I would like to see officially canonised, remade into a story on the show? It's gotta be Chimes of Midnight, really. It's just that is unparalleled. You just can't get any better than that. It's absolutely perfect, atmospheric, so many great concepts, plays with paradoxes, and it's just amazing. I don't think it would be as good, obviously, in live action, especially not with Paul McGann and India Fisher in their roles, because it kind of needs them. And I think if it was done in live action, it could be an absolutely amazing atmospheric Christmas horror story. What's my favourite video I've made so far? It's got to be my Nirvana Lost animation video. I think that was absolutely amazing. I'm really happy that did so well because I worked so hard on it. And yeah, it was just a huge project and I'm so glad it turned out as well as it did. And yeah, I'm just so happy with it. Would I ever consider reviewing the Celestial Toymaker story? Not really. I just think it's kind of a bland, not great story. Apart from the final ending, it's just meh. Would I say Doctor Who is back? I think Doctor Who is Barack. Yeah. What happened after the series finale of Class? So I just imagine that they just had to go about life as normal with obviously April as this weird shadow creature, and yeah, they just went back to normal life. Which Doctor Who story do I think is the best depiction of wasted potential? It's got to be Flux. I do like Flux. Obviously, I made a whole video about it, reviewing it and cutting it a lot of slack, but I think there's so much wasted potential in that whole story. It's so badly managed and it could have been a lot better. Do I listen to audio dramas? If yes, what are my favourites? I've listened to some Big Finish. I mean, I own all of these and a bunch off screens. All the 8th Doctor stuff is like the non-box set stuff is over there. I own loads and I barely listen to any of it. In terms of favourite, it's got to be Chimes of Midnight. It's just iconic and beloved for a reason. But yeah, I really need to listen to more. It's just a shame Big Finish has fallen off, honestly. Like, it's just dissuading me from listening to more because it's just the whole thing is just tainted, really. It's just so meh. Who hurt me the most emotionally in my childhood? Oh, we'd be here all day if I got talking about that. Worst torture story ever. It's gotta be From Out of the Rain. That is just so bad. It's just, no, I don't like it. It's like Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's not Torchwood or Doctor Who. It's just so bleh. Worst Doctor Who episode ever, Classic and New Who. Okay, for Classic Who, it's got to be up there with, okay, Gunfighters, Web Planet, and then obviously the Twin Dilemma and Time Flight. Those are the obvious two. But yeah, I really don't like the Web Planet. I think it's awful. It's so painful to watch. In terms of New Who, it's got to be, like, again, Praxeus, because it's just so boring bad. At least with, like, Orphan 55 and Legend of the Sea Devils, they're fun bad. You can laugh about them a lot. But just nothing of substance happens in Praxeus. It's so bland. And just, yeah, so boring. What are my top 10 favourite horror movies? I don't like horror movies, so I haven't really seen that many. I was trying to think, like, have I even seen 10 horror movies that are even possible? I mean, most of them that I've seen are, like, bad. Like, Wish Upon I watched because it's so bad it's good. Or when I was a kid, I watched Insidious and Sinister just to kind of laugh at them. In terms of like the actual ones I think are good, in no particular order, probably The Thing, Alien, Aliens, Annihilation, 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, Requiem for a Dream, Donnie Darko, Final Destination, and The Lighthouse. Some of those aren't like traditional horror, but I consider the psychological thrillers kind of horrors. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge horror person really, so I haven't seen many horror movies, so... yeah. Thoughts on the huge blobfish omelette drama? Honestly, mate, that was rancid. You should have thrown that away instantly. I'm so glad you didn't open that celebrations box. That was cursed. This is a cursed image right here. Who inspired me to start my channel? Kind of the YouTubers I was watching around the time, and some of them I still do, are kind of like I Hate Everything, Red Letter Media. Those were two main ones. I did watch like nitpicks around the time I started my video. I don't know if anyone remembers them. But yeah, those were kind of the videos I was watching, those kind of video essay style stuff. So I guess those are inspirations. Is there a video I made that I thought could be better? Yes. Okay, so my Captain Jack Face a Bow video, that was a disaster. Okay, I still stand by a lot of the points I made in that video, but I articulated them and it presented them so badly. And it's just this, it was such a badly made video, and I wish I could have remade it properly so that people actually understood where I was coming from with it. Does my Vauxhall Corsa run on petrol or diesel? It runs on petrol. I wish I could get a better car anyway, but it's what I'm stuck with. What's my favourite thing about being a YouTuber? Loads of stuff, like not having to commute. I can set my own hours, which actually is kind of a bad thing because it means I just work 24/7. Just the freedom of it all. I just get to choose what I do and when I do it and how I do it. It's such like a freeing thing. Obviously, there are a lot of downsides, but I much prefer this over like a regular job. So yeah, I just enjoy so much of it. Should Norway be eliminated? What, just kind of like from the globe? I mean, Norway's not awful. I guess it can stay. Should the UK be eliminated? Absolutely. You know, just sink it into the ocean. What missing episode would I want animated next? Controversial, but the Space Pirates, okay? No. Hear me out. I know a lot of people don't like it. But because there's so little of it remaining, they can get real wild with the visuals and make it like some proper like epic Star Wars space battle stuff, because there's no reference photos for people to be like, well, actually, this is wrong, like they were about like one or two scenes from other animated things. They can just do whatever they want, and I just think that makes it so much more interesting than all the popular ones people want, because there's so much more you can do. Out of all the episodes covered in my To Spend and Despise series, which do I think is most unfairly hated? It's a tricky one because I understand the reasons why so many of them are hated. I get it. I know why they're so unpopular. Maybe some of them are like, people are a bit harsh on, but I think everyone has legitimate criticisms of them. So it's so hard for me to like point at one and be like, yeah, especially that one the most. Maybe, I guess like Cyberwoman or Class. I know they're not Doctor Who episodes, but they're kind of the ones where I most felt like, okay, these have way too much of an unfair reputation compared to what they actually are. Have I ever met any of the doctors or companions from the show? Actually, I've not. I don't really go to conventions or anything, and especially not for the ludicrous meet and greet prices. Who do I think are the most underrated classic and New Who companions? Which are my favourite non-recurring companions? So in terms of most underrated classic Who, probably Romana 1. I just think no one ever really talks about her and she did an amazing job. In terms of New Who, it's got to be Martha, really. I know she's not really underrated anymore because she's kind of been underrated for so long it's wrapped back around, but yeah, it makes sense. In terms of non-recurring companions, I mean, there's not that many. There's just the Brigadier, Captain Jack, and River Song, who I don't like River Song. Captain Jack's okay, but I'm kind of just over with him. I guess that leaves the Brigadier. The Brigadier was pretty cool. What's my favourite Who-tuber besides myself? So controversially, I don't actually watch other Doctor Who YouTubers. I mean, I've got friends that I'll obviously pop into the comments of and communicate with and, you know, joke around with, but I don't actually like regularly sit down and watch like I do other stuff. And also it's just a thing of like, I do this 24/7 almost, so I wouldn't want to then do that in my free time. You know, my free time, anything else I watch on YouTube is so far divorced from Doctor Who. Best introduction path to Doctor Who. A lot of people disagree with it, but I still stand by Rose. I know it was from 2005 and it's not aged well, but it's one of those things where, you know, if they can't enjoy Rose as a starting point, they're probably not going to enjoy Doctor Who as a whole. I still think it's the perfect introduction to the show, the Doctor, the companion. It just manages to get everything right. There's no other perfect starting point, in my opinion. What would I say is the Doctor Who story that would be in my top 20 episodes that most people would be surprised about or disagree with? Absolutely, probably like Last Christmas, Face the Raven, or Hellbent. Those, I believe, are really like kind of high quality, really experimental stories that, because they're part of the Capaldi era, a lot of people don't tend to give them credit for. Which episodes made me cry on first watch? Do any still bring a tear to my eye? So in terms of first watch, not many. I mean, I was a kid when End of Time Part 2 came out, so I probably cried during that. But the only one I can instantly kind of remember are Face the Raven and Twice Upon a Time. I mean, I cried during Twice Upon a Time. I had to hold back my tears during Face the Raven. Yeah, but those are the only two. In terms of the ones that make me cry now, loads, you know. One of the weirdest ones for me was I was rewatching Rings of Akaton. I think it was round about when I started making my videos, and just something about it, the climax really just hit me, and I just kind of got it. And yeah, it just made me really appreciate the moment, and it just made me tear up, and yeah, it's just kind of a nice memory for me. Thoughts about Chameleon, Erato, and the rapping Ringmaster Man from Greatest Show? I mean, Chameleon, it just exists. Erato, I mean, yeah, I'm not too familiar with the rapping Ringmaster Man. Got to brush up on my knowledge there. Well, my top 3 Doctor Who tracks from the revival era. There's so many, like, I don't know, like Doomsday, Shepherd's Boy, Rose's theme, Clara's theme. There's so many good ones. It's got to be up there, either Shepherd's Boy or Clara's theme, in my opinion. Yeah, really tricky to kind of single out 3, because I listen to Marigold all the time, even in my normal playlist. So yeah, that's a weird one. If I could pick up any Doctor and drop them in another Doctor's episode, which Doctor and which episode? I feel like the most challenging ones, the most fun ones, say like dropping the 5th Doctor or like the 4th Doctor in Midnight, or you know, anyone in Midnight, just to see how they would. That's the most common one, like the 13th Doctor in Midnight, the 12th Doctor in Midnight. You always see people speculating that, and it's for very good reason, because it's a very complex episode that feels tailor-made for the 10th Doctor and his vanity and ego. Congrats. Favourite 11th Doctor era moment? When he regenerated. No, I'm joking. I have such a tricky relationship with the 11th Doctor era. I don't have like a specific moment that I love. I think it's consistently decent. Maybe, like I mentioned, like the climax to Rings of Akaton. I think that's a very powerful moment, so maybe that, but I don't know if that would be my favourite. It's a tricky one. Favourite Classic Who story? I've got a few questions about like my favourite or first Classic Who story. So I believe my first Classic Who story was either Pyramids of Mars or Genesis of the Daleks. Both amazing first stories. I watched them as I was a kid, so I don't really remember what I thought of them at the time, but I'm pretty sure I enjoyed them. I also watched Ark in Space as a kid, and that is my favourite Classic Who story. I just think it's amazing. So many great concepts there. A really great kind of mix of imposter story and a base under siege narrative. It's really good, and it holds up quite well, apart from the whole green bubble wrap monster thing. Thoughts on the Harrier plane? Is this the Harrier jump jet? I mean, it's got kind of a legacy to it, so I guess it's pretty neat. It's kind of cool how it can just go up, I think that's how it works. But yeah, I don't really know anything about planes. Will I ever do more collabs with Harry's Moving Media? I need them. That's not my call, you know. Yeah, you know, he's busy in South Korea at the moment and all that stuff, so I don't even think he ever put up the War Games podcast we did, so you can all hound him about that. Maybe we'll finally put it up. It'll be about 2 years out of date. But yeah, no, my door's always open. What place is my accent from? God knows. So I was born in Maidstone area of Kent. Went to a school in Tunbridge Wells, and then that obviously had its own melting pot of accents. Some London, some Essex, some Kent. It was a nightmare. And when I was very, very young, I had to do speech therapy with an American tutor. So all sorts of accents mixed in there. What's an episode that everyone dislikes but I love? Again, like Hellbent or Sleep No More would probably be those two, really. On the day of the Q&A, what did I have for breakfast this morning? I actually got up super late because I'm recording on a Saturday, and on Friday night I go to bed at 5 in the morning, so I got up and I just had a brunch bar, and then yeah, that was my breakfast. It was 11:45. So yeah. Have I seen the BBC show Wreck? No, but I had a quick look and I seen it had a bunch of Doctor Who crossover actors, because of course it would. What are my thoughts on Mark Gatiss as a Doctor Who writer? I think he's very weak with some very bland stories, some great ideas, but I just don't think his writing style necessarily works for modern Doctor Who. Probably would have been better suited for classic Who. Out of my top 10 favourite classic companions, which one would shock us the most? Romana won. I think no one ever really considers her for these things, but she was absolutely amazing. I love how she played off the Fourth Doctor, and yeah, Romana won, absolutely amazing. Mary Tam was a truly great Doctor companion, and yeah, unfortunately she's no longer with us. What do I do for a living other than content creation? What is my favourite franchise / verse other than Doctor Who? This is my living, barely, just about. In terms of my other favourite franchises, I guess Star Wars, but I'm not as huge on that anymore. I love Lord of the Rings. Those are probably kind of my two main, but yeah, not huge on anything other than Doctor Who really these days. What would I be doing if I weren't a Doctor Who YouTuber? Probably just working in warehouses, or just at a push, maybe some sort of social media manager job, but yeah, probably not anything near as fun as what I get to do. What inspired me to start making videos, and what inspires me to keep going? So what inspired me to start was literally just the fact of I left school, and then I wanted to go into media, so I was a decent editor in A-level terms. And yeah, I just wanted to keep up with editing practice. I got into watching a lot of video essay stuff around the time, so I just thought, okay, I'll make some of these to practice. And then yeah, it took off and I never looked back. What inspires me to keep going, I know as cringe as it is because of you guys, honestly. Yeah, I mean, this is my job, so that's good, but it wouldn't be without all of you watching. So, you know, it's always trying to put out the best videos for you that keeps me going. So yeah, big thank you to all of you for supporting me this long and allowing me to do this full time. It's honestly humbling and a pleasure. So yeah, that's kind of what inspires me to keep going. Who would I pick to be the next showrunner? Such a tricky one. I don't really know of any showrunners. Maybe okay, there's this one guy. He's written a couple of Doctor Who stuff. He's called Bevan Goffert, I think his name is, something like that. I don't know, I can't remember. He's quite an obscure writer, but I think he'd do a good job. In terms of lethal company skills, which of your moderators is best? Okay, so it's not Blobfish, because he always dies instantly. I guess, I don't know, Lud, you're pretty good at parkour. I don't know, I think maybe Neve's got you on there. I think she's maybe just a little bit better than you. And would I review Children of Earth if I was given 10 million Great British pounds he received from his dealer? Sure. Yeah. I'll do it then. Bible review when? Commission it on Patreon. Who's the best golfer? Yeah, so it's not you, Blobfish. It's probably Lud. Sorry. Probably Lud. Or Floffle, maybe. Actually, no, it's neither of them. It's me. I'm the best golfer. I'm the best at golf with your friends. Just don't actually ask me to back that up. If I could remake one old video from when I very first started, which one would it be? Probably my TV shows one, my most popular video. I hate that. I really hate that video, and the fact it's my most popular really grates me, because I think it was so badly researched, written, and made. It's just, I hate the fact that it's my most popular video because it doesn't represent me well, especially not anymore. DS or PSP? So I grew up with both. I'd probably say I played the DS more because of stuff like Pokemon, but I think the PSP had more interesting stuff going on for it. But also the DS had PictoChat, so okay, DS definitely. Favourite classic Doctor? That's such a tricky one because I love them all for different reasons. Obviously I love the 7th Doctor for his manipulative darkness. I love the 2nd Doctor for being the foundation of all the others. The 4th Doctor is obviously classic. It feels too easy to say the 4th Doctor. It feels like the non-fan answer. But I guess because his stories were the ones I enjoyed the most, so maybe him. I can't really think of as much about the others that I love, so yeah, I guess it's the 4th Doctor. Favourite film director? Again, as basic of an answer as this is, it's got to be Tarantino. Obviously, I know he's a controversial person or whatever, but like his films are so well made, and I love pretty much all of his films. I guess the only other director I particularly like is, say, Edgar Wright. I think he has made some absolute bangers. Am I an omnivore, vegetarian, vegan, or carnivore? I just kind of eat both meat and veg, just kind of a normal diet. I don't eat fish though, I'm like a reverse pescatarian. What are some musicals I actually do like? Green Day, American Idiot, because I love Green Day already, and especially that album. Muppets Christmas Carol is okay, but last time I watched it I couldn't bear the songs, so I skipped past them. But yeah, there's not really many musicals I like at all. I just don't like the genre. Do I think I would collaborate with fans? If not, why? If yes, who? Anyone who asks, or anyone you specifically curate? I mean, I've been on a few podcasts before. It depends really. Like, I don't really collaborate. Normally my style doesn't really lend itself to that. So yeah, I don't really know what I would collaborate with. I mean, I collaborate with obviously other channels whenever I can, but I'm not sure when it comes to like collaborating with fans, kind of what that means. I've done Discord Writes Who, that's kind of a fan collaboration. People in my Discord kind of wrote a Doctor Who story, so yeah, there's that. If I had a superpower / magic power, but it had to be really, really niche specific or otherwise see only limited use, what would it be? I don't know, probably like every 2 cream eggs I eat in a day has no calories or something. I don't know. I'm greedy when it comes to food, so probably something related to that. When I first started my channel, did I expect it to get as many subscribers? No, I didn't even think I'd get like 100. It was honestly just like a passion project to start with. I didn't even really think about getting subscribers for the longest time. And now that I'm at this, I'm like, oh my god, I've got more subscribers that could actually fit in the Yeti had, which, you know, actually, even if the Yeti had 100,000 capacity, it wouldn't be getting more than 60k anyway. What's my favourite or least hated Jim episode of series 11, 12 and 13? In terms of each series, probably series 11, it would be like Demons of the Punjab. Series 12, probably Haunting of Villa Diodati. Series 13, War of the Centaurans. I don't know. I kind of like series 13 as a whole. Not like, but you know what I mean. What's the best and worst thing I had to read in school? Okay, best of Mice and Men, obviously, for the memes. Worst, Merchant of Venice. Absolutely awful Shakespeare play. I hate Shakespeare literature. It's awful. Truly terrible. It was great at the time, obviously, but now, no, bad. My chicken nugget or chicken tender or chicken strips kind of person. Just anything breaded chicken, get in me, okay? Did I watch Nickelodeon as a kid, and what are my thoughts on Quiet on Set? I did watch Nickelodeon as a kid, mainly only the cartoons though, like SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, that kind of stuff. I did watch Drake and Josh, and kind of a guilty pleasure when I was a kid was iCarly. I didn't tell anyone else because it was like a girls show. So yeah, I did watch iCarly a bit whenever I had a chance. I know about the allegations and everything about Quiet on Set, and it sounds horrific. So yeah. But with that is all the questions out of the way, I think. I think I managed to get them all. If not, some of them were cut out or I just overlooked them. If you want to see more stuff like this, every month I do a Q&A on my Patreon. So, you know, if you want to sign up from as little as £1 a month, you can get early access to videos, get exclusive videos like the Q&A update things I do. And yeah, just any other freebies I put out there. You know, I've got a couple of scrapped videos I might upload for Patreons only, so maybe. Once again, a huge thank you for 60,000 subs. It's been an amazing journey over these last 5 years of me making YouTube, and I don't have any plans of stopping anytime soon. So unless the whole ship sinks, I'm just going to sail it into wherever we can go. So thank you all for joining me on this incredible journey again, and hopefully maybe we could get to 100k in the near future, in the next 5 years. I'm really looking forward to all the Series 14 stuff. Got a lot of great content regarding that planned. Hope you keep watching. So have a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. And an extra special thank you to my Asbantium level patrons, Fallon Cortez and Nathan Gibson, my Diamond level patron, Glenna Clark, my Platinum level patrons, Matthew Burns and Maximilian Foreman, and all my Gold level patrons, Daniel Shillito, Francois AK Line Vortex, Lee Marie Farrell, Thomas R, and Thomas Price. Thank you so much for your support.